Hello and welcome to Awareness Wednesdays. This is where once a month, the members of the Mindful Life membership group get together and we talk about a specific topic for the month, and we celebrate that. And we also do some journaling. We do some group journaling, and then we get into groups and we share what came up for each other. So that's what we're going to be doing here today. And this month's topic is about celebrating harvest, because it's September and we're coming into that whole harvest energy. And I like to think at this time of year where we're harvesting what we have planted in the past. And while we don't traditionally harvest like we did back in the day, I think it's important for us to step into a place of reflection and celebration of the season. So recognizing the fruits of our labors at this time of year and expressing gratitude for the abundance that we have in our life, and opening our heart to the most bountiful possibilities that are coming up, because we have so much that is coming to us. But recognizing our efforts, their impact, right? Because whatever's happening now is because we set an intention and we put those efforts out into the universe, that energy out into the universe. And now we are harvesting those things, and we are getting to see our unique gifts that we are bringing into our lives. Because fall's a season of transition, it makes it a really good opportunity to revisit the concept of harvest, which is really, like I've been saying, it's a metaphor for our personal and professional achievements. So as we engage in mindfulness practices, we are acknowledging and appreciating our journey, our growth, and the outcomes that we've experienced. For example, when I first started practicing mindfulness and meditation, I had one goal, and that was to feel joyful again, because it used to be my just MO, how I was always. And at the end of my emotionally abusive marriage, I did not feel joy. I didn't feel happy about anything, anywhere, at any time. And I wanted to feel that way again. That was where I started. And I knew it wasn't going to happen overnight, even though I wanted it to very badly. I kept going. I appreciated the things that I learned from other people. I appreciated the meditation teachers on the Insight Timer and the local meditation center near my home for helping me and allowing me to feel gratitude and appreciation for the things I was feeling and moving through. And over time, I grew. And remember, I had one goal. It didn't matter if I was practicing mindfulness by journaling. It didn't matter if it was meditation or active meditation. It didn't matter. I had one outcome that I wanted. And then about a year and a half later, I woke up one day and I realized that I hadn't cried the day before. Keeping in mind, I cried every day for 7.5 years. But this was my outcome. And I realized I feel joyful. Holy mackerel, I'm here. I feel joyful. I'm happy. I'm grateful. So it took, right? The fall is a time to look at this and go back and look. I'm really grateful for the things that have happened for me. But this happens all year long, all the time. Feeling grateful and recognizing the abundance and the bounty that we are experiencing all the time. And yes, you could call this an attitude of gratitude or what have you, but just now we're going to harvest happiness in our lives. And we're not chasing fleeting moments of pleasure. We are cultivating a deep sense of joy and abundance within us. And we do that every single day. Now, you can do that lots of different ways. I actually have a whole blog that I wrote last year about activities that you can do in the fall that are really lovely mindfulness practices. And I'll include the link below so you can go and look at it. But I love some of those things like going and hugging a tree, which sounds really goofy, but go and do it because it feels so like you just feel so connected to the universe and to this other living being, living creature, creature being, I don't know what to call it, but it's another living thing. It lives a different way than you do, but go hug a tree. And I actually did that in my front yard last year when I was making this list, and I hugged my crepe myrtle. And I said, thank you for bringing me so many beautiful things, so many beautiful flowers throughout the year. I'm so grateful for you. And thank you. I'm so glad you're here. I love you. This is all part of expressing our gratitude for the bounty that we have around us. All right. So, because this is about recognizing the things that have come into our life that are wonderful, we are going to journal. And here's my journal. We are going to journal today about things that we have achieved this year that we created. We planted the seeds and we harvested it. So first things first, I want you to take, if you have a watch on, I want you to take that off. And I want you to get comfortable in your seat. And take your watch off, get your feet flat on the ground. And I want you to feel the energy flowing through us. We're not allowing ourselves to, we're not crossing our legs, we're not crossing our limbs. Again, the energy needs to flow freely. And I want you to close your eyes and let's take a few deep breaths. So we're going to breathe in. And we're going to hold here for a few seconds. And then release. And let's do that again. Ah, feel that in your heart. Yes. And release. And if you feel any tension in your shoulders, just let that roll down your arms and drip on the floor. And we're going to breathe in one more time, and we're breathing in love and acceptance. And we're holding. And then release. All right. Open your eyes. Always feels good, doesn't it? I love doing breath work. It always feels good to me. All right. Grab your journal. And if you want a journal like I've got here, these journals are available on my website because I spent a long time. I wanted like the perfect how it felt in my hand and how the paper felt in my hand, and you can see here. All right. So the first thing I want you to know, if you haven't been to one of these before, is that we are going to be journaling in a mindful way that perhaps you've never done before. And I like to say that this is my way of being very intentional and very mindful when I'm journaling. And I was taught this way over 20 years ago by a lovely woman. And stay with me here. We're not journaling with our dominant hand, and I'm left-handed, so this is my dominant hand. We are journaling with our non-dominant hand. Now, yes, it might feel uncomfortable. It might be awkward. It might be weird. Whatever it is, I want you to use your non-dominant hand, because that essentially is another way of practicing mindfulness. And if you've done mindfulness because you're looking for something, like I was earlier, in my younger years, I was searching for clarity of my purpose. And when I learned this form of journaling, it made me cut through all the garbage and all of my left brain shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and get right down to the meat of what my purpose was or what I needed to know in this moment. It cuts through all of that crap. So trust that this form of journaling is going to give you what you need. It's not going to happen overnight necessarily. And it's going to be awkward, going to be hard to read. Here's an example of mine right here. Look at that. That's crazy looking. Hard to read? Abso-freaking-lutely. However, it is the way to go. Trust me. So today is the 18th. So the first thing I want you to do is to write the date in your journal with your non-dominant hand, and see how I've just done that. And yes, it's hard to read. It looks weird. Trust me on this. We're doing this because it's a little bit like priming the pump. We're communicating to our heart that we are opening it up to receiving inner wisdom and knowledge from our heart and not just our heads. And then the next thing we do is we write the journal prompt for our writing. And I'm going to put that in the chat right now so you can go and look at it. Here it is. There it is. And the prompt is, what are the most significant achievements you have harvested this year? And yes, this is typically something you might do at the end of the year, but I want you to do it right now. I want you to think about it today. What have I done in the last year? And you can include the last few months of 2023 if you want, or you can just look at 2024. It makes no difference to me whatsoever. It will make a difference, or it might make a difference to you. But what I want you to do is now I want you to write that question with your non-dominant hand in your journal. And once you've done that, then you're just going to start writing. That's it. You're just going to start writing. And I don't care if it's a word, a phrase, a sentence, it doesn't matter. I don't even care if you are answering that particular question, because regardless of what you're writing, it is what is important to you right now. This question is to get you started. And perhaps you start by writing, oh, hey, you know, in my case, I published 2 books this year. Okay, great. What else did you do? And I start writing that down. But as I'm writing, what ends up happening is that I'm getting out of my head and I'm not thinking about what I should write or what I should consider. I'm starting to write about how I felt about those things that I did and how they impacted my life. How did they impact others? Who knows where your writing is going to go? It doesn't matter. It's going to go where it needs to go. So again, the question was, what are the most significant achievements I have harvested this year? And there's a second part to this, and I'll put this question, or this part 2 is, how have these achievements impacted your personal and professional growth? So think about that. And again, just start writing. Just allow whatever needs to come to you to come to you. And you will get exactly what you need. Now, I also have additional prompts in the membership portal, which, if you want to dig a little deeper, will take you a little bit further down this path, which I love. I love that if this really, like, if you get in a role and you want to just keep going, just go into the membership portal and you will see those questions there that will help you make that just even more yummy as you're going through it. All right, I'm gonna stop talking. We're going to listen to music while we are journaling, and then we will come back. We will get into breakout groups, share our experiences, and then we'll come back together. And that's it. If you have any questions while you're in the breakout groups, feel free to put those into the chat. I'll be watching the chat to make sure